I've made tons of videos about Grand Theft Auto 6 at this point, and lately I've noticed more and more people starting to doubt how polished the game will actually be. Some think it might end up like Cyberpunk 2077 full of bugs, broken mechanics, and a messy launch. But honestly, I don't see that happening at all. Today, I want to show you why GTA 6 is on track to release in a much more stable, complete, and polished state. Rockstar and CD Projekt Red are completely different kinds of studios, different philosophy, different workflow, different technology, and a totally different company structure. And that's exactly why GTA 6 is being built under completely different circumstances. Now, let's start with something that seems kind of obvious, but still worth saying time. GTA 6 actually had the time it needed. According to Take-Two's financial reports, full production started back in 2020, right after Red Dead Redemption 2's success. Here was some pre-production before that, but real development began that year. And if you go back even further, there were early talks and concept work on GTA 6 as far back as 2014. That means by the time it launches, the game will have roughly 8 years of total development time. Take-Two's CEO Strauss Zelnick explained the decision to delay it until 2026 by saying, "As we approach the final stages of a project aiming for perfection, the need or lack thereof for further polish becomes clear." In this case, the opportunity for a bit more time presented itself, and we thought it was right to ensure Rockstar Games achieves its creative vision without compromise. And according to industry insider Jason Schreier, nobody I've spoken to at Rockstar believed that fall 2025 was ever a realistic window. There's too much work and not enough time, and management seems genuinely motivated to avoid brutal crunch. These quotes already show a completely different mindset, one that's focused on patience and quality, not panic and pressure. Cyberpunk 2077, on the other hand, was a totally different story. Even though it was delayed multiple times, it still came out rushed and unfinished. CD Projekt Red pushed the release 3 times, trying to buy themselves more time to polish the game, but those delays weren't nearly enough. Each postponement was short just enough to squeeze in some last-minute fixes. And when that didn't cut it, they resorted to mandatory 6-day work weeks, breaking earlier promises to avoid crunch. So yeah, technically Cyberpunk was delayed, but the reality is they just ran out of runway. They probably needed 3, maybe even 5 more delays. But instead, they said, "We just need to ship it, we'll fix it later." And that's the kind of mindset that's been haunting the gaming industry for over a decade now. It sucks, because back in the day, when you bought a game that was the game, you popped it in, it worked. No patches, no day one fixes, nothing. And if there were bugs, they were small, barely noticeable ones. But yeah, I'm getting off track here. Anyway, it's no secret that GTA 6 is going to push the PlayStation 5 to its limits. And if you remember what Cyberpunk 2077 looked like on PS4, I get why some of you might be nervous. Maybe you're thinking, there's no way the final game will look like those trailers. Maybe it'll be a laggy, broken mess again. But here's the thing, don't worry about that. GTA 6 is being built from the ground up for current-gen consoles only. It's designed exclusively for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, and Xbox Series X Vertical Bar S. When Cyberpunk came out, CD Projekt Red tried to make it work on everything PS5, sure, but also PS4. And honestly, it should have never been released on last-gen hardware in the first place. That's what doomed it. Rockstar's approach is the complete opposite. They're focusing purely on the current generation first, and only then, maybe a year or 2 later, they'll bring it to PC. That's exactly the kind of development philosophy that gives you confidence the game will actually run properly when you play it. According to some leaks, and take this with a grain of salt, GTA 6 has already been hitting 60 frames per second on PS5 Pro during testing, with ongoing optimization from PlayStation engineers themselves. This is reportedly tied to the new Rage 9 engine and how it uses AI systems to offload CPU-heavy tasks. Now, will GTA 6 actually run at a stable 60 frames per second when it launches? We don't know yet, but it's Rockstar, and if you remember, Red Dead Redemption 2 shipped at 30 frames per second, so it's possible they're aiming higher this time. I'll talk more about RDR2's launch later. Meanwhile, Cyberpunk 2077 was built for old hardware and horribly optimized. CD Projekt Red even admitted during an investor call, "We made it even more difficult for ourselves by first making the game look epic on PC, and then adapting it to consoles, especially old gen, which resulted in catastrophic performance on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One." The results speak for themselves. The PS4 version scored just 50 on Metacritic, the Xbox One version 51. Forbes went as far as to say the base console performance was one of the most hilariously bad performances I've ever seen for a AAA game. Yeah, let's be real, Cyberpunk's launch was rough, like painfully rough. I still remember all those meme compilations and bug montages flooding YouTube. The problem was simple. CD Projekt Red built the entire game around the PC first, trying to see how far they could push it visually, and only then tried to reverse engineer it for consoles. Rockstar, on the other hand, has always done the opposite, and that's what makes them smart. They design their games with consoles in mind first, making sure everything runs smoothly. Then a year later, they polish up the PC version with all the bells and whistles, better graphics, extra settings, mods, whatever. Now, here's something that really puts Cyberpunk's development into perspective. The lead engine programmer, Charles Tremblay, I might be saying that wrong, later revealed that the game suffered from major memory leaks. He said, "In theory, the game could run indefinitely, and at some point we'd get fragmentation or memory issues, and we'd run out of memory to handle certain animations or something else. Then you have two options. Either you show a T-pose or you crash." Man, imagine being a developer in that situation. That's brutal. But you know what? CD Projekt Red kind of grew too big for their own good. Because if you play Cyberpunk 2077 now, it's amazing. The redemption arc has been incredible. The game today is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. But when I play it, I still ask myself, how on earth did they ever think this thing was gonna run on a PlayStation 4? Like, who looked at that build and said, yeah, ship it? And that probably comes down to how the company itself is structured. See, Rockstar operates with a massive amount of creative independence under Take-Two. Their corporate setup gives Rockstar and its individual studios their own infrastructure, resources, and management. Take-Two's philosophy is all about creativity, first giving studios like Rockstar and 2Kelvin's full freedom to innovate and deliver quality without compromise. Basically, Take-Two knows, if we want these guys to make us a lot of money, we need to let them cook. And that's all there is to it. Honestly, that's something Electronic Arts and half the industry could seriously learn from. Because yeah, we get it, everyone wants their profits, their bonuses, their yachts, their private jets. But creative people need time. Technical teams need space to breathe. You can't rush a masterpiece. Sure, AI can help speed things up here and there, but it's not a substitute for genuine creative freedom. CD Projekt Red, though, didn't have that luxury. They were under massive pressure from investors to get Cyberpunk 2077 out in time for the 2020 holiday season. And we all know how that turned out. As one analysis put it, they released the game because their shareholders said, "Time's up, we've waited 8 years, and through 3 delays, it's time to cash in and get it on shelves for the holidays." By September 2020, those delays had already increased the planned cost by 77%. And the studio had spent over $121 million on development. That's a huge contrast to GTA 6's rumored production budget, which could be close to $2 billion or even higher. So yeah, that's not even the same playing field. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why didn't someone just play the game before launch and realize how bad it was? Like, why didn't an executive sit down and go, "Guys, this is not ready"? Good question, and that brings us to Rockstar. Rockstar has consistently prioritized quality over deadlines or marketing hype. Their track record of delays actually proves that. IGN once documented that Rockstar often pushes games back specifically for quality reasons. For Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, the second delay happened in February 2018, pushing it to late October. In their statement, Rockstar said it was purely a matter of quality. And guess what? Delays or not, it launched to universal critical acclaim. One thing I've also noticed, people love to joke like, "Oh, can't wait for Rockstar to delay GTA 6 again." But here's the thing, Rockstar rarely delays dates. They delay windows. They'll say, "It's coming this fall," and then maybe push that window to next spring. But I can't even recall a time they said, "It's launching on this exact date," and then postponed it. That's a big difference. and it shows their commitment to proper quality assurance. CD Projekt Red, on the other hand, straight up misled players about the console versions. BBC reported that CDPR was accused of intentionally misrepresenting the game's performance by only letting reviewers play the PC version before launch. That's shady. They knew the console versions were a disaster. Later, the company apologized and said, "We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But come on, by then, the damage was done. Those were crocodile tears at best." And again, this isn't hate, it's 2025 now. Cyberpunk has had its redemption story, and I genuinely love the game. But back then, yeah, they messed up big time, and everyone knows it. And the wildest part? Just 2 weeks before launch, CD Projekt's co-CEO Adam Kaczynski told investors that performance on the base PS4 and Xbox One was, quote, surprisingly good, I would say, for such a huge world. Yeah, turns out that surprisingly good comment aged like milk. Cyberpunk 2077 was so broken that Sony had to pull it entirely from the PlayStation Store. Just think about that for a second. Can you imagine Rockstar releasing a Grand Theft Auto so bad that it gets removed from the PS Store? I can't. That's not even in the realm of possibility. I've played every single GTA since the very first one, and Rockstar has never dropped the ball like that. Their track record is legendary. I still remember lining up for those midnight launches, everyone buzzing with excitement, grabbing their copies, heading home, and diving straight into the chaos. And somehow, every single time, Rockstar delivered. That hype didn't fade after launch, it grew. Man, I miss those days. Midnight launches, the smell of a brand new game case, that feeling of opening something special. Now everything's digital and it's just not the same. Anyway, let's talk numbers. GTA 5 scored a 97 on Metacritic for both PS3 and Xbox 360. I still remember the Xbox 360 version. It came on multiple discs. I was like, what the hell is this? But I popped it in and boom, it ran beautifully. Smooth, stable, immersive. And that's a pattern I've seen over and over again. Every time Rockstar drops a trailer, I look at it and think, there's no way that's running on current gen hardware. And every single time, they prove me wrong. GTA 4? Looked impossible, ran great. Red Dead Redemption? Same thing, stunning, even on the 360. Though yeah, the PS3 version, not quite the same story. Then GTA 5 nailed it again. And Red Dead Redemption 2? I swore there was no chance it could look that good on a PlayStation 4. And guess what? It did. Perfectly playable, jaw-droppingly beautiful, and stable. No broken mess, no missing features, it worked. Now compare that to Cyberpunk 2077, which was a complete train wreck on PS4. That's why you see such a massive review gap. Red Dead Redemption 2 pulled another 97 on PS4, and Xbox One IGN called it meticulously polished and alive. The Independent wrote that it's alive like no game before it remembers, it reacts. Your actions have consequences. Cyberpunk, meanwhile, total disaster at launch. The PC version managed an 86 on Metacritic, but console versions? PS4 got a 50, Xbox One a 51. Forbes even called it one of the worst rated console games of 2020. It took 2 years and multiple major patches for the game to earn its redemption in the form of Phantom Liberty. And yeah, I almost said Phantom Pain. Huge shout out to Metal Gear, incredible series. Go play it if you haven't. Now, let's talk about crunch culture. Rockstar's management has reportedly made a real effort to avoid brutal crunch during GTA 6's development. Jason Schreier mentioned that there's a genuine desire from leadership to avoid severe crunch with Grand Theft Auto 6. That wasn't always the case during Red Dead Redemption 2. Some developers described the environment as pure chaos, like a sleep deprivation experiment gone wrong. But they pushed through, shipped it, and it worked flawlessly. This time though, it feels different. Rockstar is trying to protect its devs, and that's a good thing. Game developers aren't machines, they're artists. We should be supporting them, not grinding them into burnout. Delays? Honestly, they might be a good sign. They show Rockstar's commitment to ditching the toxic crunch mentality. And that mindset doesn't hurt the game, it makes it better. Because here's the truth. When people aren't working under insane stress, they're more creative. You can feel it in the final product. Pressure doesn't breed genius time and passion do. Sure, maybe some crunch will always exist, but minimizing it means the final game will feel alive, not rushed. Meanwhile, CD Projekt Red went full speed into a wall. Bloomberg reported that the studio enforced mandatory 6-day work weeks leading up to Cyberpunk's release after promising they wouldn't do that. That's when you know things are falling apart. Like when a company says, "Don't worry, we won't make you crunch, everything's fine." And then months later it's, "Okay everyone, 24/7 shifts until launch." Yeah, your game's probably doomed. Some devs reportedly worked up to 100 hours a week for months. That's insane. I mean, look, I might pull 100-hour weeks between YouTube and my day job, but that's my choice. Forcing people to do that, that's not passion, that's exploitation. You can't build greatness through exhaustion. So let's wrap this up with the facts. Every sign points to GTA 6 launching in a far superior state compared to Cyberpunk 2077. Rockstar has given the team proper time to build without rushed deadlines, focused exclusively on current-gen hardware, maintained full creative freedom under Take-Two, prioritized quality assurance and transparency, proven again and again that they can deliver polished releases, and most importantly, taken real steps to avoid developer burnout. Rockstar could drop the mic right there. Meanwhile, Cyberpunk's failure came from rushed production, poor console optimization, investor pressure to release early, misleading marketing, and extreme crunch culture. Everything that broke Cyberpunk 2077 are the exact things Rockstar is actively avoiding with GTA 6. So if you've been worried that GTA 6 might pull a Cyberpunk, don't be. That's not happening. Rockstar's too experienced, too calculated, and too committed to mess this up. But hey, that's just my take. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Rockstar still got something to prove. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear what you think. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.